Hello, how are we doing? Good to see you all. Thank you very much for joining me. Listen to that tune. Just listen to it. It is marvellous. Now, of course, we all know why we're here. Welcome, of course, to the very first, well, it's not really the first stream, is it? We've already had pre-season testing for the CDM Boremula 1 World Championship. We just finished that about half an hour ago. Thank you to James Leggett, Craig Evans and Brian Crowles for just turning out tonight, because they weren't able to do all of the sessions on the original night. They got together, managed to agree on a time for tonight so we could get this done ASAP. Now, there's a few things I want to cover first before we get into this. Based on what cars that you are given, you will have to paint your wheels in iRacing a certain colour. That's all going to be announced in Discord and everything afterwards, so don't worry. But I just want to reiterate how important that is, that you have to do that. So please do it, because so much time and effort has gone into these liveries between me and James. We are so happy with how they turned out. We would not like to see them spoiled by somebody not running the same colours and so on. So, the main reason we're here then, these things, this lot, they are the liveries on the Pro Mazda as they are. It's it's crazy to finally see them as they are, because, like I say, we put so much time into making them. They just look the absolute dogs, don't they? They absolutely look the dogs. Starting on the top left, you've got the Williams Renault, then the Ferrari, Benetton Renault, McLaren Mercedes, Jordan Peugeot, Prost Mugen Honda, one of the prettiest but simplest liveries on the grid. Excuse me, the Sauber Petronas, then the Arrows Yamaha, Stewart Ford, probably the most unreliable car of the year, Tyrrell Ford, Minardi Ford, wasn't good if you had a Ford engine, and then Lola Ford. Sorry, it's Minardi Hart, sorry. Minardi has a Hart V8 engine that year, very underpowered car. Right then, how do we go about starting this then? Well, what I'll show you first is the final results of pre-season testing. So, of course, we finished the 3 tests again tonight. The final few drivers put their times in. So this is how it looked after Alton Park. As you can see, James Leggett and Craig Evans were the 2 drivers out there tonight. They rounded out the entire field and went 20th and 21st. Only a couple of thousandths between the pair of them as well. It was really, really close right to the end. They had a really good laugh doing it as well. They were such great sports about it. Then we went to Brands Hatch, and Leggett ended up 23rd, but Craig was a little bit quicker and went into 20th place, so he put Brian down a spot, and Craig Schill as well. But Craig, I'm sure, will be very happy that he's beaten James this time round. And of course the final one at Donington Park. Now, James went out and went 22nd. Brian was also out in this session. He didn't complete that originally on last Wednesday's pre-season testing. And then Craig actually went up to 15th position. Again, only thousandths between him and Jakob Szymanski and John Tusting. And then those two were put together. So I've got the points and everything on this screen over here, and I have basically the way it's all panned out. The first car we are going to come to is our beautiful Lola T97 30. Of course, the car that was very famously incredibly slow and an absolute meme of a Formula 1 car come the real world situation. But the 2 drivers that are going to be in this car are the ones that finished 23rd and 24th in pre-season testing. The first of which is Martin Kenyon, and his teammate is going to be James Leggett for the season. James did say that he wanted the Lola early on because he thought that it was such a pretty machine, so he gets his wish. I'm actually going to put the points over here so I can see them a bit closer to all of that. But yeah, James, Martin, you guys are the Lola drivers for the season. Congrats, boys. Congrats indeed. The next one up, we're going to basically... We organised this in driver order in the championship, so it wasn't just like Williams, Ferrari, McLaren, Benetton in terms of the teams. Basically, wherever the sort of main representative driver for that team finished in the championship. So Jordan's were 9th and 12th, for example. So if you finish 10th or 11th, you know, it's not guaranteed that for those two positions that you're going to get what you wanted. So James gets a Lola, and so does Martin Kenyon. The next car, personally, when you look at the real cars, this is one of the prettiest F1 cars of all time. The Minardi Hart M197. Beautiful, beautiful machine. Really, really do love it. Now, the drivers in this finished 22nd and 16th overall in pre-season testing, so they were a bit higher up the order, let's say. The first of which was in 22nd place, and is Toby Ward. Toby gets the Minardi for the season, and his teammate is going to be the man that ended up actually turning up last minute to pre-season testing at the start of last week, and that is John Tusting. So John and Toby will be piloting the M197. And no, David, you were right, mate. It's the F197 background song this is that we have playing right now. I have been searching high and low to try and get the original files, but best I could do was rip a YouTube video basically and just use that. Next up, Tyrrell Ford, the 1997 Tyrrell Ford 025. Again, a bit of a meh car. It had a weird nose on it, much like the 1998 car. Bit of a weird looking thing, but again, simple liveries. It was a bit of a tough time around that period for Tyrrell. The drivers in this car finished 21st and 18th in pre-season testing. The man that finished 21st is Belgian Brian Crowles. So Brian, well done. You are going to be behind the wheel of the Tyrrell. And his teammate is a very, very good friend of mine and fellow commentator as well, Hasse Raymer. Hasse will be driving the Tyrrell with his, I think he's going to be number 5 this season, Hasse said. So Hasse Raymer and Brian Crowles will be in the Tyrrell. We are going to look at the whole list, by the way, at the end. I think I've got the image set up for that, but if not, then I'll just do that right now, because I do have a sort of spotter's guide for you all. It might be a bit too big of an image, but we'll have to see whether I can get that to fit. I think I do have it though, so if you bear with me a sec, I may be able to blow it up to the size where we can tell who's in what. Yeah, I've sort of got it. Yeah, we'll go with that. Right. Next up. Next up is a car that not many people wanted. There was a number of drivers. There were a number of drivers that said, "Please don't let me be in the Stewart SF01." This car was horrendously unreliable in 1997, especially in the case of Rubens Barrichello. Rubino finished second at Monaco in the wet, which was an absolute miracle in 97. But in every other race except 2, where I think he finished like 14th and 16th, he retired in every Grand Prix because the car blew up or he was involved in an incident. He had a horrid year with this car. Thankfully in iRacing they don't simulate reliability as poor as the Stewart Ford, so you might have to just give it a bit of credit while you're driving it. And that credit will have to be given by the 2 drivers I'm going to name now, first of which is Craig Schill, good friend of James Leggett, of course. Craig manages to finish 20th in pre-season testing, and he will be in the Stewart. The second driver, I'm gonna say this. Basically, the time that Craig set tonight, which put him 15th at Donington Park, knocked one of these drivers down 1 spot, and of course affected their points from pre-season testing, which gave them this car. But before tonight, they weren't going to be driving this, and this driver absolutely hates this car, and it is the one car they said they didn't want. Jakub Szymanski, you will be driving the 1997 Stewart Ford SF01, my friend. I can only apologise, because that is the one car he said he didn't want. So you can blame Craig Evans for that one, mate. You can blame Craig Evans. Next up, in my opinion, the prettiest Formula 1 car of all time, the 1997 Arrows Yamaha A18. For some reason, they didn't put A18 on the image because I'm an absolute cretin. However, this car is one of my all-time favourites, and it's a massive, massive favourite. And to be fair, Jakub is teammate with Craig. That is all he wanted. So, yeah, I didn't even think about that, to be honest. Arrows is next up, though. And it's quite an interesting team here because they're 2 of the most exciting drivers that I've commentated on. They've really supported me through all of my series that I've hosted, and I see them on the grid very often. The first of which is Rob Lundgren. Rob finished 17th in pre-season testing, and he will be alongside Morgan Butler, who finished in 13th place. So well done, boys. You have bagged yourself probably the prettiest car on the grid, and I hope you do it justice. I really do. I really do. So Morgan Butler and Rob Lundgren, you 2 will be driving in the Arrows. Next up, we have the Sauber Petronas C16. One of the most underrated cars of the season, I think. I never know what to think of how this thing looks, to be honest. James Leggett has done an amazing job of this livery, though. A really amazing job. And hats off to him, because the liveries I've done, I was happy with them, but James's are just insane. Absolutely insane. Driving the Sauber, the drivers that will be behind the wheel of this finished 15th and 11th in pre-season testing. One of them is a bit of a sort of what might have been scenario, because one of the drivers turned up to Alton Park, the first session of the night, very, very late and only got a chance to put a few times in, ended up 22nd, whereas in the other two sessions he competed in, he was 8th and 6th. So there could have been more points there, but either way, we'll have to see. Morgan and Rob there having a bit of banter in the chat, love it. The drivers in this one, two guys I'm a huge fan of as well, so I'm looking forward to seeing how they get on. My good mate Adam Hedgecock finished 15th in pre-season testing. Adam Hedgecock and Ed May will be teamed up in the Sauber, two of the nicest guys you'll meet as well, so fingers crossed they can make the most of it and, again, do the car justice. The next blue beauty that we have before us is the Prost Mugen Honda JS45. It was named the JS45 because it was very last minute bought out after being Ligier by Alan Prost. And this is one very simple but very pretty car, this Prost. It was interesting again team-wise, because in '97 Panis was an absolute god in this car. He really outperformed the ability of this car. Shinji Nakano was pretty abysmal in most races, and even though Panis crashed at Montreal and broke both his legs, he still outscored anyone else that drove for them. Trulli drove it later in the year after he left Minardi. Basically Prost brought him in to replace Panis. He did alright, and he was a bit further up the order because of it, but yeah, this car had one, actually, Panis finished 10th in the championship. The other car was classified 19th, which would have been Shinji Nakano. So 19th in pre-season testing was Craig Evans. So well done, Craig. You've managed to get yourself a blue and white car. I know you're a fan of blue and white cars, being Scottish. You like your Acuria Cost liveries. And 10th place in pre-season testing, a great performance by Tim Perry. So very well done to Tim. It's Tim and Craig at the wheel of the Prost for this season. Now then. This is an important bit. This is a really important bit, and everybody here knows why. Or at least I really hope you all know why. This car has, honestly, look at the nose on it. Look at what James has done with this livery, man. It is phenomenal. Hats off to James Leggett for this. Everybody wanted this. Everybody wants this car, the Jordan 197. It is the most asked for car in the paddock, and one of the two drivers that's got this, I don't remember seeing an opinion of this car from him, so I'm not sure if he's one of the drivers that really wanted it. The other guy that's driving it, though, really wanted this car, and he ended up getting it. So the drivers that finished 9th and 12th in pre-season testing, 12th place was Khan Nguyen, the Vietnamese driver, so very well done to Khan. You'll be driving the magnificent Jordan 197. And the man joining him was somebody that said straight away, I'm going for 9th, says John Cleland. Ben Gregory will be driving in the Jordan, so Ben will certainly stand out amongst the rest here, and I really look forward to seeing what Ben can do with this car, because it is an absolute beauty. So GG Ben, you managed to get that in the end and finish 9th. He actually finished 9th, 10th across the 3 sessions as well, so we all thought that he would get that, but well done Ben, well done Khan. Great, solid stuff from both of them across testing as well. Next, another one of my absolute favourites. The McLaren Mercedes, annoyingly called the MP412, because as soon as you look for MP412 on Google, some weird road car shows up. This is the proper MP412. This is the OG. They should call it the MP412 OG rather than 12C. But, can't even care much about the Jordan. Oh no! Anyway, this McLaren, one of the prettiest cars, of course, really came on at the end of the year, was very quick. Retired from the lead multiple times in 1997, this car. Hakkinen and Coulthard both had failures. I think they were having a 1-2 at the German Grand Prix, or the European Grand Prix at the Nürburgring. And they both had a failure within like 2 laps of each other. Same failure, and they both went out from a 1-2. Real shame, to be honest, because eventually at the end of the season this was the car that gave Hakkinen his first win in Formula 1 at the very last round at Jerez, and then straight after that he went back-to-back titles. Incredible stuff. The drivers behind the wheel of this thing finished 7th and 4th in pre-season testing, and anybody that watched it will know it was incredibly close up there at the top. It was absolutely ridiculous how close it was. 7th place was Silas Craig-Vrolik. So you'll be driving the McLaren, mate, and I hope you are happy with that one, because look at it. However, the guy that we've all got to feel sorry for, being his teammate, so this guy's going to get crashed into a lot if history repeats itself. I'm just kidding. Christian Rose finished 4th in pre-season testing. It's great to get Shifty back on the grid. He's a really good mate of mine, massive Formula 1 nut, just like me. Some of the details and conversations we have about Formula 1 and little things we notice about the cars, you'd think we were so sad, but we love spotting those little details. So Christian Rose gets his McLaren in 4th place. Silas Craig-Vrolik also gets the McLaren in 7th. GG, boys. Again, probably if you had to pick a livery in this pack that James has absolutely nailed, that is just gorgeous. The Benetton Renault 197. Insanely good looking car, especially considering how mad it is as well, how much stuff is going on with that livery. James has really done a good job of this. This was the first one he did as well, and he sent me the picture of this, and I had to just go for a bit of a walk around just to calm down. It is stunning. So the two drivers behind the wheel of this finished 5th and 6th in pre-season testing. Again, two of the most consistent guys. In one of the sessions as well, one of them was actually fastest. In the other two sessions, the other guy was 6th, 5th, and then 3rd. So 6th place was Pete Newman, who topped the times at Alton Park. So we definitely have a race winner here in the Benetton B197, as we did in 1997 at the hands of Gerhard Berger. And his teammate for the season is going to be New Zealander Cam Dance, and we all know how fast Cam is going to be. So fantastic, really solid team there, Pete Newman and Cam Dance. Two of the nicest guys you can race against as well. Really, really clean. Awesome to race those two together. So well done, lads. Now, who likes Ferraris? Because I do, and I really liked the 1997 Ferrari F310B. It was a really good looking car. Really, really good looking car. It's just a shame that it didn't really fit sort of hanging off the side of a Williams at Jerez. But hopefully none of that this season from the two guys driving this car, because with Eddie Irvine's performance in 97, he actually finished 8th in the championship. So the driver that finished 8th in the standings will be driving this machine. And of course, not the driver that got disqualified and finished last, but we reinstated Schumacher's position in the championship to 2nd, because that was a reflection of the true pace of the Ferrari and obviously whoever was up there. So the two that have been given the scarlet bodywork for the year and will be Ferrari drivers are going to be Jack Stiles, well done mate, and Kevin Zemstra, who finished 2nd in testing. And I have to say, it was incredible, because there was only one tie. In terms of how the points were calculated, there was only one tie between any pair of drivers, and it was Kevin Zemstra and Ben Hoffman. We figured out their overall times across all 3 sessions, so we just added them up. And overall, there was 30 thousandths of a second between the two of them. It was absolutely insane, and they just did an amazing, amazing job. They were so close throughout. I'm just having a few frame rate drops here, and I really don't know why. Maybe Beth's kicked Netflix into life or something upstairs, sorry. But yeah, two Ferrari drivers then, Jack Stiles and Kevin Zemstra, so well done boys. Now, I think if anybody really sort of knew beforehand what they were going to get, it was probably the two guys that have been waiting here, and they know exactly what they're getting now, because the two that will get the Williams finished 3rd and 1st in pre-season testing. We all know who was in 3rd and 1st now, or at least we should, because they did an insanely good job. One of them especially topping 2 of the sessions and finishing 2nd in the other one. At Brands Hatch, he was 2/10 clear of the whole field. It was absolutely great to watch. Jake Blackhall finished top of pre-season testing, so very well done Jake. He was 6 points clear as well. Everyone else was separated by about 2 points at a time as well, so really dominant stuff by Jake. Well done mate. And his teammate for the season will be Ben Hoffman. The German driver has been so fast, and was really fast in the Sim Racers World Formula 3 series as well. So I'm dead excited to see how these Williams do, especially with the Ferraris, McLarens, Benettons around them as well. I hope you're all happy with what you've been given. Obviously, I know, Jakob, you didn't want the Stewart, and Kevin, you really didn't want the Ferrari. I'm so sorry, boys, but that's how the cookie crumbles. in motorsport. Like I mentioned, wheel painting is going to be important, but I'll post everything I can about that in the Discord. Excuse me. We'll go over all of that as well before the season gets underway. We have a week. The season gets going a week today at Phillip Island. I am so excited. I cannot wait to get this done. One thing I will show you though is the final driver lineup. So that is, I know it's not the easiest to see right now because the text's a little bit small, but that is your list of drivers, everybody, and how they will fan out. We'll try, and the thing is, if I make it any bigger, it just, yeah, you can't fit them all on the screen, unfortunately. But that is your lineup. So to go through it, we've got Jake Blackhall and Ben Hoffman in the 2 Williams. Ferrari, we have Kevin Zemstra and Jack Stiles. Benetton is Cam Dance and Pete Newman. Then we have Christian Rose and Silas Craig Frolic in the McLarens. The Jordans are Ben Gregory and Khan Newen. Tim Perry and Craig Evans will be driving the Prosts, with Ed May and Adam Hedgecock in the Saubers. Morgan Butler and Rob Lundgren team up in the Arrows Yamaha, with Jakub Szymanski and Craig Schill in the Stewart Fords. Brian Crowles is alongside Hasse Raymer in the Tyrrells, with John Tusting and Toby Ward in the Minardis, and James Leggett and Martin Kenyon round out our field in the Lolas. And that's that. We have our field complete. I'm going to get all the paint pack and everything together. The drivers are hopefully going to get the wheels painted and so on. There are set colours for it all, so don't worry, I'll get you covered. But hopefully you can join me in a week's time, where I'll be joined again by the wonderful Jack Johns, and we can get the championship underway. I'm so excited to get this all done. It's going to be an absolutely mega championship. Thank you again to everybody who has, of course, taken part in this so far and been a part of helping set it all up. I'll send this image out as well on Discord in just a moment so everyone can see that. If there are any questions or anything, do just fire them over to me. Just let me know. Anything you want to ask at all. There is obviously a rule book and rules and so on with the championship available, but whatever you need. So thank you very much for watching, everybody. I really hope that you are going to enjoy this season as much as I am. I cannot wait to get it going. And again, thanks to everyone involved and everyone watching. But for now, I'll see you soon, everyone. Have a good evening.